Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Fusion of Honor, where we break down everything that happens in MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. Now, last week we were able to talk about Battle Riot, and we were able to talk about the things that are going on with MLW, and this week, not as much going on with MLW. We're still waiting for them to get back into the swing of things. Actually, I'm sorry, that was 2 weeks ago. That's how far back Battle Riot was now. In our rear view mirror, we are looking forward and ahead to the TV tapings when they do take place. They are going to be taking place in September. We're only in the beginning of August, so there's still a ways away, and we got to see what exactly MLW is going to do to keep people engaged when it comes to their product. But one thing we don't have to worry about is being engaged with the Ring of Honor product, because we are starting off this week. We are kicking off with our Women of Honor Championship tournament. And guys, there's nobody, when it comes to tournaments and Ring of Honor, there's nobody that I'd rather be able to break this down with than anybody but my co-host, the three-time baby-making champ. This is the guy who I break down everything when it comes to tournaments, Ring of Honor, MLW, all of that kind of good stuff. Ness, how are you doing this evening?
Doing mighty fine, good brother. True Heels, what is the deal? Not a lot of MLW, pretty much no MLW news this episode, but a lot of Women of Honor action. And I must say, kudos to Ring of Honor's management for actually giving pretty much this whole week's worth of content from Ring of Honor to the women. So yeah, that was really good. They see how important this tournament is, how important women's wrestling is, how hot it is right now. And you know, it's great. It's great that they actually took the time and put all of these matches on the weekly show when it's usually, you know, male dominant, instead of just having these tournament matches take place on YouTube, in my opinion. But, you know, we're here to break everything down for you.
Absolutely, guys. And as always, right before we get into all of the good stuff, we got to remind you, hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you have not already. It allows us to do all the things that we do for you. There's no way for Ness to be a roundtable rebel if we aren't able to put on roundtables. That's just how it works. It's just easy logic there, guys. The same way that easy logic was something that escaped Ring of Honor this week on Ring of Honor's Week by Week, when they decided to put Matt Taven and Mike Bennett into a tag team match against the Righteous Dutch and Bateman, and then remove Taven from the match. So it turns into a handicap match. Now, we do get Vincent on the microphone and commentary, and there's some funny moments that come out of this, I thought, because I liked the part where they were asking him, why are you making them do these sorts of things? And he's saying, no, I don't make them do anything. Yeah. Like, they're their own people. And then, like, right afterwards, he's like, I want more of that. Like, give me more of that. Like, beat him up more. And then and Caprice is just like, so how you gonna sit here and lie to me? While I'm sitting right next to you. And at one point, they cut over to Caprice. He was literally just looking at Vincent like, "What? How are you going to sit here and lie to me and tell me that they're not like you? You're the puppeteer." And Vincent is maintaining that he is not a puppeteer. But this was a match that you kind of expected. You kind of knew what was going to happen. The Righteous have a tendency to lose battles but win wars, and that's kind of what happened here. They lose the match by disqualification, but they win the war by trying to take out Mike Bennett and damage him. And again, the sole purpose of doing this is so that when Taven and Vincent meet in the cage at Glory by Honor on October 20th or 21st, or 20th, Bennett can't be there to help him. But lest we forget, we actually review a week prior. So this was an episode that came out July 30th, and you mean to tell me that Bennett can't recover from anything that's done to him in the span of 3 weeks? To not even get into the ring and help his friend if he needs it. And so let's talk about what they do to Bennett to try to put him out on the shelf. Because the end of the match, the disqualification happens, and they are kind of dragging Bennett around the ring. Bennett does a really good job of doing like the blind swing. Oh my God, I'm too beat up. And then Vincent is like, bring him to me. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're going to bring him over to Vincent. Vincent wants to get some hits in, wants to beat up on poor Mike Bennett when he's defenseless. But no, what he meant was pick this man up and lawn dart him over the barricade so he hits the concrete. And Mike Bennett, to his credit, I don't know if he timed it properly or if he just took it straight out. Did not look when he was going forward, the camera angle, he did not look like he was going to get his hands up to brace himself, and he was going to take that hit on the concrete face first. And I was like, that's dedication. I don't know if he just knew the angle and it was just like the very last second, I'll get my hands out, I'll be able to do it so I don't, die. But either way, he was able to add a level of realism to that. But still, it's a question of, I'm okay, and I'll be honest, I've never been lawn darted into concrete. I usually try to avoid those situations. So I don't know. Maybe it will take him 21 plus days to recover from that. Who knows? However, I've said this before, quite famously, I watched John Cena get DDT'd onto concrete and still win a SummerSlam main event. So who knows what Mike Bennett is really capable of. But, he was the miracle Mike Bennett for a while there, right? So who knows? But either way, this just seemed a little over the top, a little unnecessary. Or maybe they should have had this match a little bit closer to Glory by Honor. Maybe the week prior, maybe even 2 weeks prior, something like that. And then the next week they have Bennett show up and he's all injured or whatever, and then they attack him again, something like that. This just seemed a little, I don't know, too early in. And the crazy part of it is it seemed too early in a feud that has been going on for 2 years. So Ness, what did you think about this?
I agree. I say that this actually, I think this was unnecessary. I don't think that they need to have any more in-ring interaction now that we know that Vincent's going to be facing Taven at Glory by Honor in the cage match. We're at the point where we've pretty much seen everything except for the cage match. We've seen them attack each other. The Righteous get the upper hand one week, and the OGK get the upper hand the next week. We've seen Taven and Vincent just battle amongst themselves. We've seen Bateman thrown in. We've seen Vina Von Star, now Dutch. Mike Bennett returns. We've seen Maria Kanellis, act oblivious, whoever the fuck is going on.
I was about to say, we haven't seen.
So we've literally had everything happen except for the cage match. And in my opinion, that's really the only thing we need to have happen at this point. Again, I think this is really unnecessary. I guess they were just trying to keep the storyline going. But again, it's been going on for 2 years. Granted, Mike Bennett just returned to Ring of Honor not too long ago, but Taven's been in a feud with Vincent and the Righteous for quite a while, So it's again, we've seen all this stuff happen. They don't need to have physical contact anymore. They can have their single promos to themselves, anything like that. But then you go out of your way and give us a match. Okay. So you go out of your way to give us a handicap match, and the people with the upper hand in numbers get disqualified. Again, what are we having a match for?
Wait, how did they get disqualified, though?
Honestly, I forgot. I forgot exactly. What, they hit him with a chair or something?
Dutch pushed Todd Sinclair.
All right, so I spaced out on that part. So the referee that lets people do whatever, that lets Roosh does whatever the fuck he wants.
That's what I was waiting for.
And LFI, for the most part, they can do whatever the hell they want in a match. They can hit you with the title, hit you with chairs, take you outside the ring, throw you in the barricade, be outside of the ring for like 30 seconds without a 20 count going on, choke you with wires, do all type of shit to you. But pushing Ty Sinclair is where they draw the line.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, that makes a whole lot of fucking sense. And then again, they have the upper hand. If they just wanted to beat down Mike Bennett, that's all you had to do. There didn't need to be a match. There could have been a backstage segment, Mike Bennett talking to somebody, or the backstage segment where the Righteous may be talking, and then Mike Bennett comes out to try to attack them, and it doesn't work out to his credit. But I honestly don't think they need to be having any more in-ring confrontations at this point, because again, I'm going to reiterate it, we are pretty much at the peak of this feud. Now I will give Mike Bennett credit, because that lawn dart onto the concrete, yeah, that was brutal. And when I seen that, I was looking for some type of padding. They really don't show you the area, but from the part of it that you do see, I didn't see any padding. I didn't see anything over there. I just seen straight concrete. And you can hear the impact of when he does land, and it sounded like he landed on the ground. So if he just straight up took that, best of wishes on his recovery, because he might need to be out for the next 2 to 3 weeks, until this match happens at Glory by Honor. But at the end of the day, I think they're pretty much where they can go with this. There's really nowhere else to go with it. Nothing else to do. They just need to have the match, and then finally, this feud can be over. 2 years in the making. Don't, do a bait and switch saying that, oh yeah, it's going to be over. It's going to be over. It's going to be over. As soon as the match happens, no, we're going to go back to it. Like, no, don't. Just let it be done. Let both these guys go on to do whatever it is they're going to do away from each other. Maybe in another 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
Come on now, Ness. It's gonna be the end of August. You know what that means? It means Final Battle's right around the corner.
Exactly. So yeah,
they stretch this out for another 3 months.
They probably will. They'll probably try it, because something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna come out of nowhere. Maybe and I've seen a comment on the YouTube channel for Ring of Honor while I was watching this. Someone said that he thinks that there might be someone from the OG on the OGK side coming into play now, because they've been, you got a hurt Taven, a now hurt Bennett. Theyese guys are, they're weak right now.
They are there is
and outnumbered.
Yeah, what's his name? TK Orion, a former member of the Kingdom. He might be somebody who could potentially show up to help, which would be interesting. Actually, that would actually be an interesting wrinkle, because normally in a cage match, the heel is the one that's cheating by getting people to come in and help them out and all that kind of stuff. And so that'll be that, because usually the baby face is an idiot and thinks that that's going to be able to corner the heel. So that will definitely be interesting to see. I mean, what do you feel like? Do you feel like they said, hey, Mike, they ran the angle by him, and Mike was like, but 3 weeks, I could come back. Like I could come back, and they were like, but what if you took the concrete to the face for realsies? And he said, all right, I'll do it. And they'll be like, we won't remove your wife as a member of the board of directors. And he was like, done. Like, what else am I doing with my life? Like, let's go. Let's fly.
Point, I believe she's the one that suggested
it. Maybe. But if we're talking about if this match, or this feud rather, is a sign of the old, a sign of things that have been done over and over and over again. How are you going to have a cage match when I already saw Dutch throw Taven off of the balcony of this gymnasium place when they had their old school fight? We can transition to something that is a lot more fresh, a lot more new. No, newer. That's the word I was looking for. When we talk about this Ring of Honor Women's Championship tournament, this is the starting point. We have 4 matches this week, 3 on Ring of Honor television, 1 on Women of Honor Wednesdays. And I want to start with that match because all 4 of these matches have something, and this is what I loved about all of them. They all had something different. They all were a different story. They all had a different clash of styles, but they all have interesting results. And we're going to start with a match that kind of had a result that we expected. And this is when Willow takes on Allison Kay. And this was a match that had some nice moments. This was a very, very interesting story aspect, even in relation to the previous matches, because this aired after them. Because during the match, they're talking about on commentary how Allison Kay has a strategy of knowing that there's a target on her back because she is one of the most experienced. So she wants to take everybody out as quickly as possible. And interestingly, this match is actually going to go the longest out of any of the 4 matches this week. It's going to go just about 11 minutes and 30 seconds. But this match is going to also tell the story of Allison Kay having to grind Willow down. And I quite literally mean grind Willow down in order to get the win. But she is able to get the win with a submission move, and Allison Kay advances in the tournament. I liked this one. I thought it told a good story. Ness, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I like this match a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. I was rooting for Willow to go the distance in this Ring of Honor Women's Tournament. But again, she was matched up with a former NWA Women's Champion, a former Knockouts Champion. So she has the accolades to make this valid and getting this victory. And I can't be mad at it. They both went out there. She put in a lot of work in this match because, again, Willow is not a pushover. So she really had to make it seem like she can get this victory and do it well. Just like you said, she was trying to get it done as quick as possible. But the fight in Willow made this match go the longest out of any of the matches we've seen this week regarding the Women of Honor tournament. One part that I didn't like, but I did like at the same time, where Willow taps. She had to tap her on her ass. I'll just throw it like this. I'll just throw it out there. I'm the three-time baby making champion. I couldn't get that if I didn't like women. So I'll just say that right there. So the way she was doing it, tapping out, just smacking her ass, and say, "Whoa, yeah." But then I had to come back to reality. I'm like, Willow just tapped. She put up a hell of a fight. I give her props. This was a great match. A lot of back and forth action, a lot of striking, a lot of character work. There really wasn't a heel versus face dynamic. It just was 2 individuals going out there not wanting to give up, in the face of their adversary, because they want to be the one to go the distance and become the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. But again, that just a little bit more experience, not even just in the ring, but just being a champion in Allison Kay. That, in my opinion, that's what led to her win. Once I would love to see Willow return, once the tournament's over and the Women of Honor is just like a regularly weekly thing. Once again, I would love to keep seeing her in Ring of Honor, Women of Honor. But like at this point, Allison Kay pretty much had the toughest task to climb, and out of the people that I've seen perform, I thought Willow was one of the best, if not the best, singles competitors so far that I've seen. Like there's been great matches, and then there's been great showings from people in matches. There's been matches that both people have put on a great performance, and then there's just been some matches that I thought that people stood out more than their opponent. That was Willow for me in her match against Alex Gracia. But now, somebody like that was a legit threat to anybody, and even to Allison Kay, but she just outworked her and, came up with the victory. So at this point, Allison Kay is looking like could possibly be the number one seed in this tournament at this point.
Yeah, and they talked about on commentary how next week we have Marty Bell versus Trish Adora, and if Marty Bell were to beat Trish Adora, we would see Marty Bell take on her very good friend Allison Kay. They are friends and tag team partners dating back to Impact, exactly. And they had a storyline together as well in NWA that on Power that involved their friendship and Marty Bell turning on Allison Kay and joining Melina and Thunder Rosa as heels. So it will be how they book Allison Kay is one of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing when it comes to this tournament. But you brought up somebody who's in our next match. You brought up Alex Gracia, and she has a really good showing in our opening contest of ROH's weekly show. She's up against Miranda Alizé, the Lucha Baddie. I know you like that hat and mask.
I got to get me a mask and a sombrero because there's so many luchadors on Fusion of Honor. I have to represent. I got to show love.
If you get a mask and sombrero combination, Josh will never let you live it down.
He's gonna Photoshop my head on Bandito's body or something like that.
Giving a new meaning to the most wanted moniker. Yeah. Here we need to see who wants it the most, who wants this win the most between Miranda Alizé and Alex Gracia. And like I said, all four of these matches have a different kind of aspect, a different kind of unique factor and storytelling that's happening. With Allison Kay and Willow, it was the story of the grinding, the submission. Here, it's showmanship. Here, to me, it was showmanship. It was this was a match that kind of was built for a crowd. Alex Gracia is somebody who plays well to a crowd. We've seen this on Dark. We've seen this a little bit on Dynamite when it comes to AEW. Miranda Alizé, her presentation is also somebody who works well with a crowd. I mean, you're coming down to the ring, like there's nobody there, but you're still coming out with that sombrero mask combination. Like there are reasons for that. And this match was all about the showmanship, kind of the pizzazz, what you can bring to the ring to stand out. Dalton Castle loved this match for sure, but this was something that had nice action as well between the two of them, and just some great moments where you couldn't tell really who was going to pull out the win on this one, and that's something that I liked. It felt as though Miranda Alizé was the favored going into this match. Alex Gracia, not as much. Alizé is going to pick up the win. She picks it up in 8 minutes and 43 seconds, but it felt as though it could go either way. And at the same time, it kind of felt almost, excuse the pun because we know we're talking about wrestling, but predetermined that Miranda Alizé should continue onwards. So when Miranda Alizé did pick up the win, it kind of was like, wow, all right, I like it because it's what I thought should happen. So Ness, what were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I just myself, nothing against Alex Gracia, but I just had it in my mind that Miranda Alizé was going to continue on into the tournament. She's already picked up 2 victories outside of the tournament, just being on Women of Honor Wrestling, the weekly YouTube show. So just that in itself, I already had a feeling that they're high on her. But I also have to agree with your statements regarding like the showmanship. They both come out playing to the crowd that isn't there. That's just something that they're just used to. They're always going to do that, the showmanship. And it's like They're just walking to the ring. They're in the ring. They're just looking for the admiration from the crowd. They know that they're not there, but they know that, once again, they are on TV. This is a television show that they have to remember, just like the old Castle says. So they do show that showmanship up. The beginning of this match, the first couple of minutes, was a little rough for me. They weren't as crisp as I would have liked them to be. But as the match started progressing, it showed that they were like, it might have just been opening jitters, a little bit of, maybe, I don't want to call it stage fright or anything like that, because they're professionals, but it just seemed like something was a little off. But again, as the match started going on, I guess they started, they slowed down, started, trying to pick their spots a little bit more, connecting on moves better than they were in the beginning of the match. So it went from like, oh, okay, to it turned into something better than what it was. It was good. It ended good, very well.
I think it might have been. It's that even though that there's no crowd, to your point, they know they're on TV. Yeah. And when you're on TV, you're expecting there to be a crowd. So like when you take that first bump, you're expecting some kind of react to hear something, and then you don't, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? I think that might have played into it a little bit.
Yeah, and then but after, they just were like, all right, well, now we just gotta get into it and have this match. Everything started to flow better after that. They were definitely had better striking. The moves looked a little bit more smoother than what they previous were. That springboard crossbody that Alex Gracia tried to go for but missed. She just took all of that, just the side of the floor. Not as bad as I don't know. It might be as bad, or maybe a little bit worse than Mike Bennett, or it might be even. Who knows?
Maybe she's auditioning for Cody. Malachi Black took out Cody, so Cody can go film, go big show.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
Maybe it's audition tape. You never know.
But yeah, it turned into something better. But overall, they're definitely high on Miranda Alizé, which makes sense. She's tenured in the business, years of experience, world traveled. I like the fact that they actually mentioned that both of these ladies have been on into CMLL, and Alex Gracia has been in CMLL. Miranda Alizé has been in AAA, but both ladies have been in Stardom. So that was a nice thing to show that they've they actually do have some history outside of the Women of Honor tournament, which is always great for the backstory, let people know more about the character and themselves that want to be a little bit more invested. So they did a great job of actually giving these ladies the time to have their match and playing up on who they are and what they can do.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that 100%, because I think they understood, hey, we're going to make this the opening match. Let's give this, so that means this is going to be a benchmark, a tone setter for the rest of this tournament. Let's give these guys or gals, these women, the time that they need to get the job done. And that really did help out a lot for the match. But let's talk about this next match. I like this next match because we have technical submission and grinding down that attrition, that war of attrition from AK and Willow. We have the showmanship and the pizzazz, the pageantry, kind of, so to speak, of Alizé and Gracia. But here, with Nicole Savoy and Maserati, we have attitude.
Yeah.
We have attitude. We have personality. And you got to have that when you're in the ring. You got to have personality. You got to have a willingness to do things like this to your opponent.
New shoes. Look at the
Jays. You got to be willing. You got to have the attitude to be willing to do that, and then understand that this can happen to you. Like, you can then be put in a bad position because of what you did. Like, you got to be willing to risk that. And that's what Maserati was willing to risk to try to take down Nicole Savoy and pick up the win. Or, if you were watching, when I was covering the AEW women's tournament, last year, Lil Swole. She was Big Swole's tag team partner called Little Swole. Nicole Savoy here is showing out and showing what she brings to the dance. And I like the fact that on commentary they brought up her MMA background and her training for that. And they talked about how she was in a trio, which I wasn't that familiar with Shayna Baszler and Mercedes Martinez. And obviously we know Shayna Baszler's pedigree. And we know that Mercedes Martinez has an MMA background, maybe not as big as Shayna Baszler. I don't know whether or not Nicole Savoy puts on MMA gloves and punches a bag every other weekend. But I do know that if she's being spoken of in the same sentence as those two, I automatically go, okay, so she's got some MMA stuff. Like that's just
legit. Yeah.
That's all I need. And here she has that attitude. She has that pain, the pain bringing that she's trying to put Maserati through. And Maserati's just like, no, I got to try to find a way to win. I got to try to find a way to win. Unfortunately, she is unable to. And Nicole Savoy picks up the win in just under 9 minutes. We have now set up our first showdown in the next round because Miranda Alizé and Nicole Savoy now have a date with each other in the near future in this tournament. That will be a nice matchup because we know that they're behind Miranda Alizé, and we also know that Nicole Savoy is one of the more known names out of the women involved in this tournament. So I like this match because of how it felt different, tonally different from the previous one, despite having, like, you know, when you have showmanship and attitude, they can be a lot of similarities. But here I felt as though Savoy and Maserati did enough to be different that it had its own uniqueness to the match. What were your thoughts, Ness?
I got to piggyback off that as well because it seemed, I'm just throwing it out there, no slight to Maserati. Nicole Savoy is a legit beast. Like, outside of professional wrestling, again, she has an MMA background. That solidifies whatever you do in the ring, you know. And then they say that she's in she was teaming with Shayna Baszler and Mercedes Martinez. We know how they are in the ring. We've seen them. They are legit threats in the ring. So the fact that that's who she called stablemates at one point, that says a lot, you know, because they are two world-class athletes, definitely two world-class women's wrestlers. So the fact that Nicole Savoy, you know, was sparring with them and just having their backs and them having her backs just shows how much of a threat that she is. And then it showed in this match. She pretty much dominated the majority of this match. Yeah, she was. It was the one-sided for the majority of this match. It was one-sided, and I didn't see it going any other way than what it did, just off the fact that Maserati, as she's more personality to me than like a technician in the ring. So she'll like we showed at the beginning, you know, the stepping of the shoe. You know, when she did have the upper hand of the match, she exuded so much emotion because she couldn't get the job done. So it was just like, you don't have your emotions in check against someone like Nicole Savoy, who will show you that she doesn't have emotions. She's not here to show you how she feels. She's just here for a victory. And that's legitimately what she did. She went out there, kept her wits about her, didn't overreact, didn't let Maserati didn't let up on Maserati when she did have the upper hand, unlike Maserati, who, when she was winning in the match, didn't capitalize on the parts that she should have. And I think that was ultimately her downfall. Now, going into this next round match with Nicole Savoy versus Miranda Alizé, I wouldn't be surprised if Nicole Savoy continued her path going forward and going over Miranda Alizé, solely for the fact that she's legit. She's legit as they come. I didn't know a lot about her prior to this tournament, but I am fully invested in her style, and because she has great grappling. She can put you in a submission. that's pretty much what she did for the majority of the match for Maserati to break her down. And then she's known as the Sacramento Suplex Machine, and her finisher is a dragon suplex. So I'm all for all that. You know, she's just doing like she's checking off boxes that I usually don't even check off for women's wrestling. And I don't mean to say that in a sexist way, but there's not too many women that have that style. Not too many of them focus on the grappling, focus on submissions and trying to make you tap in a variety of ways. There's plenty of women's wrestlers that have submission moves, yes, but there's not a lot of them that can transition from one submission to the next or use multiple of them in the match. They usually either use one or two. She used like 3 or 4, you know, and was breaking down Maserati's body so that she could pick up the victory, you know, and we don't see that a lot. So I'm fully invested in what she does. If the next round match is the end for her, that's somebody else I would love to see back in Women of Honor, or just, you know, anywhere in wrestling at this point, because, you know, the forbidden door is open. You know, the forbidden door is wide open. 1, 2, I'm pretty sure she's not solely contracted to one company at this point in time. So she should go out there and show what she can do on multiple stages if she's given the chance to.
Well, if you're, the forbidden door is open, unless you're Jordan Grace, apparently, and then you're just a little, you're a little upset about what is happening.
Yeah.
Even though, we have some great moments, especially on the indies, when you think about how people are able to book themselves. Yeah. I forget what was the show I was reading about, but it was, it might have been a GCW show, actually. Maybe, hopefully. I forget what. But either way, we got Jonathan Gresham versus Lee Moriarty in a match that went like 23 minutes, apparently. And the crowd was just like eating it up. And that's MLW and Ring of Honor. So,
which are very, very similar.
Talk to Scott D'Amore. Like, Jordan, talk to Scott D'Amore. I'm pretty sure you can show up on some of these shows if you really, really want to.
They got Deanna going to NWA. Somebody can pop up on NWA. Somebody else can pop up on NWA. Somebody can pop up and on AEW. Not only on just like Dark or Dark Elevation, possibly Rampage. That can be something to get people watching on Rampage. I know that Kenny said he wants Rampage to be more for the women. Why not have that? Have them cross promote on there. Just works for me. Why not?
Exactly. And that's why we are going to have in the main event of Rampage, that debut episode next week, we're going to have DMD taking on Red Velvet. But that's the main event of Rampage next week. We got to talk about the main event of Ring of Honor this week. And my God, it pisses me off.
It does too.
But in a good way. Like it pissed me off in a good way. And here we have Rok-C taking on Sumi Sakai. And maybe this is because Ring of Honor conditioned me over the past 2 matches to believe that the person who is supposed to win the match is going to win the match. But then I had to remember, 1, they're really, really high on Rok-C.
Yeah.
And 2, they literally could not give a fuck less about Sumi Sakai. She was like, Quinn was getting 8 million chances to get into this tournament, and Sumi Sakai was like, I just want a ticket. Like, where's I don't understand. I was the inaugural champion of the previous championship. Why do I not have a ticket? What the fuck?
And it took for Fusion of Honor to make it fucking happen, because we were complaining about it every week.
But you know what, Ness? I feel like in a way I gotta blame you for this.
Oh shit.
I gotta blame you for this, because what I think happened was they saw what we were saying and they said, how do we try to deal with this? And who waltzed in through that forbidden door but none other Then the Bullet clubs Gato. And Gato said, here's what you do. You give them a taste. You give them a taste of what they want, and then you rip it away.
Yeah.
He says, all you got to do is look at what I did to the guy that Ness wears shirts of all the time.
Oh, man, his booking pissed me off in 2020, 2019. It just pissed me off.
And it's going to piss you off even further when Rok-C is able to pin Sumi Sakai after 9 minutes and 36 seconds in our main event. The match was really good. This was a strong match that had some nice moments. That top rope moment was one that I especially liked because I thought the match was over at that point in time. She was just going up there and kicking Sumi Sakai in the head. And Sumi just, I don't know, like wasn't sure how she should be selling it, but she was like, needs to just sit here for a minute. and then Rok-C gets up on the top rope. They come down off the top. I thought that was the finish. There were some just great moments in this match, but I was like, how on God's green earth did Sumi Sakai lose this? And then I remembered Rok-C is the future. Rok-C is the future of the Women of Honor division, and this is how you get her over. Now, finding out that they are really good friends in real life, and that I was on Rok-Ci's Instagram, and there was a picture of the two of them, and the caption of it was that when Rok-C introduced Sumi to her mom, Sumi said, "I'm kind of like Rok-Ci's Asian mother." And I was like, one, that's just hilarious. like that sentence, just on its own, no context, is hilarious. But then you're like, wow, these are two women who know each other, respect each other. Sumi Sakai is like, of course, I'll definitely put you over. I'll make you look good in this main event. And that's really what she did. Rok-C looked like $1 million in this match. And it really makes me feel as though, because of the brackets, this could come down to potentially a Rok-C Allison Kay final, and I would not be surprised in the least. I know that there on that side of the bracket, if Rok-C can beat either Mandy Leon or Quinn McKay, whoever wins that match, she's gonna have a date with either Angelina Love or Max the Impaler. So either way, if she makes it to the finals, it is proving that she can climb a mountain. So then even if she does lose to Allison Kay, no big deal. You went through hell just to get there. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But Ness, what were your thoughts on this match? Did you feel as though Sumi got the short end of the stick? Did you feel like Sumi Sakai got an early ticket out of the tournament?
Yeah, because the first round he's up against somebody that they call the Prodigy. Like Rok-C was in the first match for the Ring of Honor, for the Women of Honor, the first match back. Not the first. What's the first? Yeah, the tag match. She was in the first tag match back. And it's just like her team won that match. She's just really been on a roll ever since then. But I gotta give it to Sumi Sakai, honestly, because in my opinion, she really was the one working for this match to be what it was. And it was the story that this was going on. It was different from the others because the main person that was doing all the grinding in this match or in the matches the previous, they went and picked up the victory. So it was like whoever was doing the most damage, they did just enough damage to break down their opponent and pick up the win. It didn't happen in this match that way. It was pretty more like that baby face build up, when to get the crowd behind someone to just have them invested in that person. So like as the story is being built up that Rok-C is this, the youngest individual in the tournament. She has years of experience under her belt, but she's still very young. She's still very teachable, and she can learn some things. and she literally had to learn how to pick up this victory over Sumi Sakai while the match was going on, because Sumi was taking it to her. And honestly, this is a side of Sumi Sakai that I don't remember ever seeing. She was extremely aggressive, just working on Rok-C, just working her over throughout the majority of this match. And that's what really stood out to me. Honestly, I'm just like, man, I've never seen, or I can't recall seeing Sumi Sakai just laser focused and not, in a bubbly state, because she just like she comes out, there's no crowd there, but she's like waving to the crowd, like slapping their hands and things like that nature. That's just something goofy, That's just something that you don't see a person that really wants to hurt you type thing. That's what they do. Not saying that she was really trying to hurt Rok-C, but as the match is going on, she was trying to pick up this victory. She was wearing her down, a lot of leg submissions, working on the knees, working on her arms. Sumi Sakai was really trying to pick up this victory, and it just seemed like, in my opinion, that's the way I wanted it to go. Of course, Rok-C is the prodigy, so they got the rocket strapped to her back, sending her to the moon, which I have no problem with that at all. At the end of the day, you got to think of the future. So it made a lot of sense. And it's even better the fact that they put it, when you think about it in that aspect, it makes the most sense for them to put the former Ring of Honor Women of Honor's champion against someone that they want to use as the face of the Women of Honor division. So all in all, the booking of the match itself, the story that it told in the match, the actual in-ring content of this match, and then the finish with the victory, because she didn't just get a flat out pinning victory. She reversed the roll up, so it was like she really had to get this win. It was a move out of desperation. That keeps Sumi Sakai strong, in my opinion, because, like, again, she was dominating the majority of the match, and she had the reason why she lost was the reversal on a roll up. She didn't just flat out get laid out and then, laid down for the 1, 2, 3. It just so happened that at this moment in time, Rok-C got the upper hand. She didn't, not too much in the match. She had her moments, but it really was Sumi Sakai's match to lose. And then eventually that's what happened. But at the end of the day, I want to commend both ladies on this episode. I think that this was my match of the night out of the 3 matches that we see, just because every match, it just seemed like, again, the first match, again, I say that it started off a little not too crisp, but then worked into something great. The following match, it just seemed a little bit one-sided, but more so of a character work for Maserati with the seriousness of Nicole Savoy. But then this main event, it had both of the ladies working, both trying to show what they can do. The babyface rise of Rok-C, then going on to get the victory over the veteran, the world traveled, the way more experience having in Sumi Sakai, and then coming to find out that I didn't know that they had a great relationship in real life. So that's even better. That just shows that Sumi Sakai even knows that, like, look, I've had my time. Now is your time. Not too many people are familiar with Rok-C. Yes, she's been wrestling for a number of years, and she's coming out of Booker T's reality of wrestling. But that's, not everybody has access to that. There's more people have access to Ring of Honor, the Women of Honor entity of itself. So having that face of former face of the women's division in Sumi Sakai put over her friend, that just shows that, one, that Sumi Sakai is a great individual in that, but two, kayfabe wise, that Rok-C is now a legitimate threat by beating a former champion in this tournament so far. The only person to do it so far, so it works. It works as far as the story they're trying to tell. And now going into the next round, can she continue this meteoric rise of being the youngest, but still being, a vet in her own right, but still not having that experience in age over her opponents.
Yeah, that is one of the things I got to commend ROH about is how well, we talked about this last week. We were saying about how they book tournaments very well, especially how we saw that pure title tournament. And after our first 4 matches, I got to say they've done a really good job thus far. Every match felt different. I'm now looking forward to next week when we're going to see Marty Bell taking on Trish Adora, and again, Mandy Leon with Quinn McKay, but now we know Angelina Love is banned from ringside. How all of that's going to factor in. Each and every person has their own individual story playing out in this tournament, what they are looking to do. And I mean, yes, they're all trying to win the tournament, but each one has a different approach. And that's what is really unique about this tournament. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of that. And who do you got? Let's do a little prediction between Marty Bell, Trish Adora, and then more importantly, Mandy Leon and Quinn McKay. Now that we know Angelina Love isn't there,
I want to say Marty Bell for the fact that I want to see her face Allison Kay.
Yeah,
they might as well just play up on that. They've done it in like you said in Impact. They did it in the NWA. Why not bring that story to Women of Honor, to Ring of Honor, and let it play out and see what we can get out of that as well. So if both ladies were to come back around once the tournament is over, that can be, a storyline like, look, we were in the tournament, blah, blah, you won. And who knows, and who's to say that the match will be 2 friends? We've seen Marty Bell turn on Allison Kay, be the heel in the situation. Maybe this can be different. Maybe Allison Kay goes the dastardly heel way to get the sympathy for Marty Bell to be the baby face, or it could just be deja vu all over again. You never know. And for Quinn McKay, I'm Quinn. I'm team Quinn. Quinn is in. Let her get her win back. That like Mandy Leon. As much as I'm a fan of her visually, I think that Quinn McKay it would just be a wasted opportunity for them not to give her that victory. We've had her come up short against Angelina, then come up short again against Mandy Leon. So now to do all that, then to get the fans into it, to give her the opportunity, now it's just like she has to get this. She has to get the win at the end of the day. It just wouldn't make that. There's Gato right there booking that. If she loses. That's the booking that Gato would do. Say like, all right, you guys had enough Quinn. But yeah, I want to say that it's going to be Quinn. Quinn is in, and she needs to exact her revenge. At least, if she doesn't make it to Angelina, definitely over Mandy. That definitely needs to happen. I'm taking
Mandy.
Yeah,
I'm taking Mandy. Okay. Here's why. Because Quinn is still learning. Quinn is still green, and every match that she's had, she had the heel beat until another heel interfered. Yeah. But here, can she actually beat them on her own? That's the story has always been that had it been but for Angelina, had it been but for Mandy, Quinn would have won the match. All right, fine. Yeah. Let's remove them and let's see if the rookie can do it. But the other reason why I think Mandy Leon is going to win is because whoever wins faces Rok-C. And Mandy Leon is the heel. So unless they're going to have Quinn go a lot further in this tournament than she should as a rookie, it should probably be Mandy Leon to give Rok-C another foil. Because whoever wins between Angelina Love and Max the Impaler, I mean, okay, I think we all expect Max the Impaler to beat Holadad. Nothing against Holadad or anything like that, but like you're not Max. I guess maybe Max could be the Sumi Sakai of that match, but either way, we have Max the Impaler versus Angelina Love probably, and whoever wins that's somebody for Rok-C to really go up against, and if she can win, that's even. And here's the thing. If Rok-C loses, let's say it's Max the Impaler who beats Angelina Love for whatever reason, and Rok-C loses to Max, well, then we probably have Max versus AK. And that's a solid matchup in the finals. Yeah. And if Angelina Love wins and beats Rok-C, Angelina Love and AK is also a solid matchup. But Rok-C and AK is also. So this is why this tournament is so well booked. And we've only had 4 matches.
Yeah.
That's something that's incredible to think, because there's so many different ways for this to play out, so many different options and roads and paths for them to go, that it's going to be interesting. All roads lead to the finals. All road lead to Death Before Dishonor at September 12th. That's going to be something that we gotta talk about down the road. And when that show happens in Lakeland, Florida, when they're talking about who's going to be that Women of Honor champion. But before we get out of here, Ness, I gotta ask your opinion on this one. This is a match that was announced for night two of Glory by Honor. Shane Taylor Promotions will be putting the 6-man tag titles on the line against Gato came and ruined it for you again, because it's the team of the team is called Incoherence. It is Delirious, Hallowicked, and Frightmare. I don't even know who Frightmare is, but I just think that's a hilarious name. My question to you is this: which of these 2 3-man teams is Dipset, and which of these 2 3-man teams is the Locks? And before you answer, here's the trick. Here's why it's a trick. Here's why it's a conundrum. Because if Incoherence is Dipset, that means the Shane Taylor Promotions and Locks. And I know you are a Locks fan over Dipset, which means you should be going towards them. But that would mean that Incoherence is the favored to win the match. And if we flip it, flip it and we make Shane Taylor Promotions Dipset, well, that would mean we have new 6-man champs, because we all know that the Locks smoked Dipset.
Yeah, it was bad.
All right, so
damn. Man, you just put me in. Oh man, I don't even know how to put it now, because it's like there's pro and cons for each.
And yet again, Gato contacted me and said, "This is what you got to ask him." Gato's screwing you over yet again.
All right, so I have to say that Shane Taylor Promotions is the Locks.
Oof.
Solely because I see them squashing Incoherence. Now, honestly, here's another reason why. I'll say this. Here's another reason why Incoherence will be Dipset. The face of Incoherence is Delirious. The face of Dipset is Cameron.
Oh,
they both say a bunch of weird shit, trying to get their points across.
You're just trying to make Jake on mad.
Oh yeah, well, he doesn't watch Ring of Honor. He probably doesn't watch us either, so I can get this off. So yeah, he says, Delirious. Blah, 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 blah. That's pretty much like Cameron rapping. Rooted to the fruity fruit. That's it. Kind of works out how both teams are somewhat similar at the end of the day, though. But yeah, I got Shane Taylor Promotions getting that easily.
There you go.
Maybe not easily, but they're definitely walking out of this match retaining those titles.
There you go. Look at that match card.
I've never even heard of Frightmare, but that sounds like a scary name. So I like it.
That looks like something Kelvin came up with.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's who he'd be rooting for. Just Frightmare alone.
Well, Ness, tell the people where they can find you on the social medias.
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at skinny__Kravitz, and right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, one half of Fusion of Honor. My man is StatKing, the man of 1,004 numbers, where we review MLW Fusion and Ring of Honor. You can catch me on Blunt Impact and Joy to Jabronis with my man Chris G. We review Impact Wrestling. You can also catch me on NX3 with, once again, Chris G and Romeo Anthony Colon. We review NXT. We go live with Impact every Thursday. We will soon be going live with NXT sometime, I want to say, in September. The Roundtable Rebel as StatKing, you guys hear every week because that's one of my aliases. And pretty soon we will return with some new episodes of True Toxicity. So, yeah, guys, we've been working. Oh, and also check out our lives on Wednesday for our watch-alongs for AEW's special shows. We did one for Homecoming, which was this week. What was last week's episode called? That's when we first did it. I forgot last week's episode, but that's when we had our initial watch-along party. You guys have been showing us some love on those, a lot of views, a lot of likes on our videos. So just keep it up. You guys keep showing us love. We're gonna show it right back. It's all reciprocal. It's a revolving door of
while I've got you here.
Oh boy. What is just announced that's going to make me go through the roof?
Speaking of revolving doors, Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out that WWE just released more people.
Seriously?
And who would you like to see join Ring of Honor, especially their women's division? Would you like, I don't know, maybe Mercedes Martinez?
Are you fucking serious? Oh my God.
But when we have the men's division, and this could also be for MLW, would you maybe like to see Bronson Reed?
Oh no.
No?
Nah.
I didn't think so.
I can see him in Impact.
But I know somebody you would like to see in Ring of Honor. Well, back in Ring of Honor. Bobby Fish.
Holy shit, they just released Bobby. He just got back. Oh my God. I can see him either doing Ring of Honor or MLW if he continues to wrestle.
They also released, there's some people here that I don't know because I don't watch anymore, but Jake Atlas.
He can go do whatever.
Former North American champion Leon Ruff.
I can see that they haven't used him. He'll probably go. I can see him in MLW.
And Tyler Rust from the Diamond Mine.
What the fuck? All right, folks.
I'll give you the whole list so you can tell me. Bobby Fish, Bronson Reed, Jake Atlas, Ari Sterling, Kona Reeves, Leon Ruff, Stephon Smith, Tyler Rust, Zechariah Smith, Asher Hale, someone named Giant Zangier, and then Mercedes Martinez.
I'm only worried about Mercedes Martinez and Bobby Fish at the moment. Those are my two top ones. Folks, I don't know if any of you are invested in WWE's product as much as you are with Ring of Honor. This is strictly for the people that are watching us. Some of those people, some of those names literally just either returned to WWE television, NXT television, just got signed to the company not too long ago, probably a couple months ago, because I remember the name Alex Sterling. I think that's or something Sterling. I think that's Alex Zane. He literally just got to the company a few months ago. So yeah, mainly me. Sometimes it's StatKing, but mainly for myself. I'll speak for myself on this. When I go off on these tangents of me thinking people shouldn't go to this company, this is the reason why. Some of these guys literally haven't even been there for a full year yet, and they're already released. Or they've had minimum experience of being on television and catering, in dark matches, probably on or 205 Live shows that nobody really watches because WWE doesn't give a fuck about them. And what do? They sign them for a little bit, and now they're gone. They're cut. And the reason behind it, budget cuts. So
yet William Regal was at that PWG show.
PWG fucking scouting people. You know, like I honestly don't get it. Bobby Fish, come home. Mercedes Martinez, if this was a couple months ago and they gave you some time before they really started rolling with the Women of Honor title tournament, this could have been you, you know. So I hope all the people released, you know, are have some work lined up for them. But the two that I'm looking forward to the most are Bobby Fish and Mercedes Martinez. Bobby Fish, for the main fact that the guy was injured, literally just returned to TV for 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks of television, and then let go. And the irony of that, the guy that he returned against and fucking Tyler Russ, he's gone now too. And you literally just brought the Diamond Mine. You literally just debuted them or re-debuted them as a potential threat. So this fucking company, man. I don't get it, bro. I really don't. Oh my god. I'm ecstatic. So now that these guys that you know they can be utilized, you know, I'm fully invested in Impact, MLW, Ring of Honor. Let these guys go out and show. And I'm pretty sure they'll end up on in some capacity, they could end up on AEW in either Dark or Dark Elevation, Rampage, maybe even New Japan Strong. You know, maybe Fish wants to he can work New Japan Strong, Ring of Honor, MLW, because as we've seen, TJP does New Japan Strong and MLW. Who else does? We have the two members of Violence Unlimited working in New Japan Strong and Ring of Honor. Who else? Somebody else works MLW and Ring of Honor, or MLW and somebody else. I just forgot who it was off the top of my head. Who's that?
Tom Lawler.
Tom Lawler, yeah, Tom Lawler. He's a champion in New Japan Strong, and he works MLW. There was somebody else too. I forgot who it was.
Then Ring of Honor, New Japan Strong. We have Brody King and Chris Dickinson.
Yeah. So it's just like these guys are all around.
Make your money, guys. Make your money.
Yeah, make the money. Don't settle. Don't settle. You know,
and I'm pretty sure Pro Wrestling Tees gives you a great percentage cut. Like, you guys are gonna be all right.
And as I thought that, you know, the show is closing out, we get this information, and then I really just want to just go off on a tangent of how stupid the WWE is to me, and I don't want to do that because it takes away the greatness of Ring of Honor and MLW. And I'll give WWE the props for this. They released these guys, and now they'll probably pop up on either of these shows, some of them.
But you know what that is a great hook for? It is a great hook for NX3. Guys, you're gonna have to tune in if you want more of this rant. If you want to know exactly, if you want to give Ness a little bit of time to develop his thoughts into a full-fledged, you know, rant, you're gonna have to tune into NX3, and you can always find that on the YouTube channel, the True Heels channel. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe if you have not already. So, guys, before Ness loses his mind, he's got a voodoo doll of Gato and a voodoo doll of Vince. I'm convinced. Those two.
And neither one are working because I got so many pins in the both of them, and for some reason they're still alive and kicking. Not that I want them to die, but you know what happens. You know what happens. Every pin that you stick into the Gato voodoo doll, the pain gets transferred to Jado, and that's why he moves so slow. Or it transfers over to LIJ booking. And then Vince, he just another pin, somebody else gets released.
Yeah. But alrighty, guys. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Remember to take care of yourselves and each other because WWE sure as shit won't. So they'll release you. But all right, guys, take it easy and take care of each other. Peace.